Hi guys, Megan here. Happy 8th day of Lent. Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit fast because there's a lot I want to say about this reflection, and it actually kind of comes out from watching the Netflix series Love is Blind. It's a little bit of a spoiler. I'm not gonna use names, but if you know, you know. Okay, so there's this couple. The whole premise of Love is Blind is about finding true love and like without seeing the person, and you go on blind dates essentially with all these different people. So there's this couple that finds each other, and the girl is completely swooned by this guy, and she's like, you know what, I really like him, blah 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 blah. And the guy is also like really into her, and so they grow in their relationship, and they like become emotionally attached, and everything is good. But this girl also finds another guy who starts to say the right things and who kind of like checks off the list and all that stuff. And so she becomes a little bit conflicted of like, ooh, who do I choose? Um, and so it's funny because one of their dating times with the original guy that she liked, we'll call him Guy A. They're having a conversation, and she goes, "I'm conflicted. Like I don't know what to do. I'm so sorry. Actually, I know that like we've had a really strong connection, but I think my heart is with the other guy, Guy B." And so Guy A is just like, "What do you mean? You're all or nothing for me. You're the one I love. Like, there's no other girl here. Like, if you're not the one, then I walk out here empty handed, and that's okay. But, like, you're all or nothing for me. So, like, please don't do this kind of thing." And she's like, "I'm sorry, but I need to pursue, like, Guy B." And so, obviously, that was trauma. So then they left, and so she goes back to Guy B, and again Guy B is saying all the right things, and he's like really gassing her up, like making her feel good. um and he said to her at one point, if there was no other guys or no other girls here, I would propose to you tomorrow. And so she's all like flustered and like giddy about it. And so fast forward the next day, and she's like, "Oh hey, how's it going?" And then she starts joking like, "I'm the one, right?" And then he hesitates, and he's like, "Oh, maybe." And she's like, "What do you mean, maybe?" And he said, "Well, I've actually made strong connections with three of you." And she's like, "What?" And then she's like, "You've essentially played me, and like, I don't have time for this, and like, I just feel like an option," which is, it's funny that she said she felt like an option because it's exactly what the Guy A said that she was making her feel like. So I was like, ooh. Anyways, so she is like really upset, and just like, so she breaks off their dating relationship, and goes on, and she's like on a tangent. But then she has to go back to Guy A and was like, "You know what, I'm sorry, like you were always it from the beginning, blah 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 blah." And then Guy A was like, "Well, obviously I don't want to be someone's second string. Like, I know my self-worth and this and that." And he like, "And let me think about it." But he's so in love with her, you guys. Obviously, he's gonna forgive her. So he goes back the next day, and he's like, all excited, and he's like, "You know what? I forgive you, this and that. So like from the moment we met, I've loved you, like this and that." And he proposes to her. Ooh, okay, so cool, 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 cool. And then they meet each other in person for the first time. They're all happy. Everything's good. Then they have to go on vacation together. But when time comes, fast forward, she meets not only Guy A in person, but she also has to find Guy B in person. Now, when she sees Guy B, obviously it's a setup because it's a reality TV show and you need the drama. Um, she's still kind of caught up with him, and like kind of flirting but not flirting, but going off about it, and all those things. And so Guy A is like, "What's going on?" So he kind of like tries to make sure that nothing happens. And then later on in the bedroom, they're talking about conversation and stuff. They're not as far along in their relationship, aka they haven't slept together compared to the other couples, and all these things, because she's very hesitant still, and she's making it very hard for Guy A to love her. He is willing to wait. He is willing to pursue her. He is willing to go the extra mile, and my girl is just giving him a hard time, like left, right, and center. I don't get it. As an audience member, you're just like, bruh, you deserve so much better. Like, why are you? What's going on? Um, and it was really hard to. It was hard to watch. It's hard to fathom, and it's like, okay, like who am I to judge? But like, bruh, I'm just saying. But it's funny Because I feel actually that's the relationship a lot of us have with Christ. If Christ is guy A, right? He's the first one. He's always loved us from the beginning. He's always loved us from the start. And we've turned away, we've turned our backs to him because we've heard so many things from the devil, so many things that he's offered. He says the right things. He says, he makes us feel good. You know, the things of this world that we can tangibly see and touch, like that appeals to us more. And so we leave God aside to pursue those worldly things, only to find out that those worldly things were just lies. They were just empty promises, right? They were just things to make us feel a certain way, but in reality, it's not true love, right? Um, and so when we go back to Christ through confession or, just like finding a relationship with Christ again, Christ welcomes us with open arms so lovingly, like the prodigal son. It just like, it doesn't matter what happened, you just come home to your father, and it's so beautiful. But then sometimes, actually a lot of times, we still have that kind of like, but what if, or like we look to the side, or we fall into new worldly traps, or maybe we repeat the same sins over and over again. And if you have audience members, I'm sure like the angels, I'm saying to probably like, bruh, what are you doing? Like, why are you turning away from God? Like this guy, like you knew he was the one from the start. This is true love. He's loved you from the beginning. You've left him, you've come back, and he still loves you very much. And like, why are you leaving him again? Right? Like, oh, it's heartbreaking to witness that. And yet, God will always be the guy to always welcome you back, to always forgive you. God is the one who is willing to wait and pursue you because he loves you, truly, truly loves you. And it just dawned on me like how much that we don't deserve the love of God in the way that he offers it to us. We are the ones who are constantly trying to weigh our options. We are the ones who are constantly making it difficult for God to love us because we are not willing to accept that no matter what happens, God can truly forgive us. God can truly love us in our imperfections. God can love us in like our crazy dreams. And I don't know why. Sometimes it's hard for us to recognize this. Sometimes it's hard for us to really see that, or we get distracted by other worldly things. And like if you're in love with someone, like you shouldn't be looking at other things or other people, right? You should be looking at the one who loves you the most, first and foremost. And so it was very humbling to one get trapped into that whole reality show of Love is Blind, because I'm like, it gives me a headache, because it's so many red flags of what true love is not. But there are glimmers of hope of what true love is. And, it really got me reflecting like, Lord, I really am not worthy of your love because I always like, I turn away, but help me to like turn back to you, and please like forgive me. And not only that, in my forgiveness, when I am forgiven, like, Lord, help me to stay. How do I stay? How do you prove your love to the Lord? How do you stay holy? In your relationship with God. That is the challenge, my friends. This is why we are fasting and abstaining throughout Lent, in a way to make a sacrifice to show that, God, I truly do love you. I love you so much that this is how much, right? Like this, please forgive me. I am doing these things so that I can grow closer to you and I can show you how much I love you, right? God doesn't he won't forsake you if you have a true if you have a true contrition, if you really are sorry and that you really do love him, he will always welcome you back. And so I just pray that we may always have the heart to recognize when it is that we start to lead astray from God, when it is that we start to look at our worldly things and look at other people, right? And when we aren't focused on God. Wow, very humbling realization. Sorry it took so long, but yeah, God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow.